Hello BookTube, Emmy Walker here to do the Reading Habits tag. This was originated by the Book Jazz, and I'll link that down below. And I was tagged technically by Lindsay over at Lindsay Ray. She tagged anybody whose name began with M, first name, last name, channel name, and that includes me, so I'm going to snatch that up and go ahead and do this tag. Let's go ahead and get started with question 1, which is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And I don't have a specific place I like to read. As long as somewhere is cozy and relatively quiet, I can read there. I do prefer to read in this recliner if I have the option, or in bed if there's someone out in this room playing video games or something. Question 2 is bookmark or random piece of paper. And technically it's not a random piece of paper. I use this clear plastic part of a bag for my sister's baby shower. We had these little baggies, and then I found this and I started using it as a bookmark. So technically I guess it's a random piece of whatever. Though I did go out and buy a real bookmark for 49 cents at Half Price Books, and I've been using that, but I find that I like my little clear plastic thing better because this little doohickey gets in the way and I keep getting it stuck in the book, and then it has this big gap, and I hate that. So I think I'll probably be switching back to the little plastic baggie here shortly. Question 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? And for that one, I guess it depends on the book itself or how invested I am in the book. I prefer to stop at a chapter if I have to stop at all, though if the situation arises where I'm interrupted in the middle of a book, I again would prefer if there's at least a page break to find somewhere to get back to easily. Though I have in the past stopped mid-sentence and then spent 5 minutes trying to figure out where I left off in the first place. Question 4 is, do you eat or drink while reading? And I would say yes, definitely. Especially with drinking, I'll either have water, or if it's cold out, I'll get a hot chocolate. And the food depends really on what I have in the refrigerator or pantry. It's usually some type of chip or chocolate. Question 5 is multitasking. Do you listen to music or watch TV while reading? And while I don't ever actively watch TV at the same time as I read, I will have it on the background at a low volume. Same thing with music. I can have music on at a low volume and still read. I think I picked that up from reading on the bus and being able to tune out all those people. So I'm able to do fairly decent amount of things while reading and still focus on the book. And I've earned a few grumpy stares from my husband because of that. Question 6, one book at a time or several at once? And I would say that I am a several at once kind of reader. I can typically read anywhere between 2 and 4 books at any time, depending on whether I have something on my Kindle or not. I usually will only have 2 physical books going. Rarely will I have 3 physical books going, but it'll happen every once in a while. Right now I have been reading Dance with Dragons for the last 6 months or so, because I only read about 2 chapters a month from that. I find that if I read more than that in a month from George R. R. Martin, I will explode. Question 7, reading at home or everywhere? I can read anywhere you can give me a spot. As long as I don't have too many people directly speaking to me, I can zone out and focus mainly on the book. That comes from a lot of practice of riding the bus to and from university and having to again, ignore the people on the bus and ignore just the general sounds of the city that try to break my brain. Question 8, reading aloud or silently in your head? When I am reading for myself, I am reading silently in my head, but when I read for my son, I read aloud. I like doing the voices. And if I'm editing my own books, I also will read aloud just so I can hear it, make sure it doesn't sound too goofy. And plus I like doing the voices, even though most of them don't have accents. I like to give them accents because I like to do that, and that's weird, I know, but whatever. Question 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? I can't say that I skip pages. I definitely agree with Lindsay when she says that she'll do that with George R. R. Martin's books and how she'll skip ahead to make sure that a character is still alive, especially with the character she's invested in. I will do that sometimes in that case. Some books, when I flip the page and notice that it's the end of the chapter, my eyes just kind of roam over to the page, and then I read the last few sentences, and then I kick myself immediately after because I get so mad. But sometimes I just can't help it, and so I will do that, but not because I want to, though evidently my brain wants to. Question 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. And for most of my books, I prefer to keep the spine new as possible. When it comes to mass paperbacks, it's a little bit more difficult, especially for longer books. So for those, I'm not too crazy about whether the spine is broken or not. But I do know that I can't resell them when the spines are broken, so I try to keep them as new as possible, in the chance that I might have to resell it back to half-price books or something. And then question 11 is, do you write in your books? And not since college have I written in my books. I mean, I'm not Mark Twain. I have nothing interesting for future generations to learn from what I have to say. So if I do end up writing in it, it's only for the purposes of, I like this quote. But that probably never happens anymore. I can't even remember the last time I wrote in a book that wasn't for academic purposes. And finally, who do you tag? I'm going to follow in the same vein as Lindsay and tag anybody whose first name, last name, or channel name begins with the letter B. You have been tagged. For the rest of you, feel free to comment down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you later, BookTube. Bye! Hello, BookTube! Emmy Walker here to do the reading habits tag! So let's go ahead and get started with the first question, and I stumbled over that too. And I would say definitely yes, especially with multitasking, or that was not the way I wanted to answer that. There was a dog barking and it is driving me nuts. What are you barking at, dog?